Guys, that was so much fun here at the Community Cup. We got to watch you guys play in the pre-release. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this in Magic before.
This is an historic moment.
It is. I mean, the pre-release is like sacred territory for a Magic player, and you guys have violated that. And you're a week out ahead of the pre-release. Sean, we talked yesterday that you were getting stronger throughout the weekend.
I soon will never lose. I will always draw land when I need. It's really incredible and a feeling. Oh, wow.
I mean, it's got to feel nice to come into, you've got a world team champion here. You've got a multiple-time invitational winner. You slugged your way through a pretty tough field.
I was really happy with how it went. I was so happy. I mean,
actually, I was the one who beat those two.
Well,
just did all the hard work. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was great that Bjorn took care of the world-class champions, and then I got to the finals and I took out Bjorn, and that felt very nice as well.
So
yeah.
if we reason this, right?
No one who has ever won a tournament was not. I had too many double negatives in the sense. Let me start over again. Whoever wins the tournament is clearly the best, and that's never ever been otherwise. Right?
Absolutely.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Totally,
that's right.
Totally right.
See, confirmation.
Tell us about Abzan. What advice do you have for people who are going to play Abzan at the pre-release next weekend?
Well, I mean, the big thing I immediately noticed is that there's like a whole bunch of mana fixing, and everyone always wants to run at least 5 colors. So the fact that you can do that in Abzan and do so many weird splashy things, I think is like tempting. But for me, especially because I got into Magic drafting around the time of Return to Ravnica, I always tried to do too much, and that always screwed me over. So here I just stayed straight 3-color and tried to avoid as much multicolored cards as possible. So it was like a really, really simple deck. And even though I missed land some, not too much, but some, a little bit. Even though I missed some land, it was still pretty straightforward to play my turns. I didn't really get cut out of too much, and that worked a lot. But for any of you folks who love to do the multicolor mixes, Abzan's real good.
MVP card for you in your seal deck?
Alabaster Kieran, easily. Like, I mean, it's a 2/3 flyer with vigilance for 4 mana, and he just did most damage of like any of my cards. I thought it was going to be some of the huge dudes, or maybe I don't know, some combat trick that was going to help me win. But I mean, really, it was him just poking away in the air that always brought the win, because I have enough huge dudes to hold the line in the meantime.
Yeah, and you were able to make that into a 4/5 anyway, and just make him just really big.
Yeah, I mean, I put counters on him post combat, and I was really.
I wasn't going to go back to that necessarily.
That was a very special moment for me, because I really think that represents me as a player.
Well, it's pre-release. We all still have to get used to the hieroglyphics of our cards.
Oh yeah, of course, like +1/+1. One of the core mechanics of the game that I still amazingly mess up. But here's the thing. It's still not as bad as when I used a destroy target permanent on an indestructible permanent, and he let it resolve. He didn't counter it. So that didn't feel nearly as bad. So
the old one for nothing.
I helped him with that play too.
Paul, what do I do here? And Paul like leans forward and he sits and he's on one knee. He's not on 2 knees. He's on 1 knee. Because he's really focused. He's intensely there, and he's leaned in, and he's like, okay, here's the play. And I'm like, Paul, tell me what the play is. He's like, you're going to tell him to sacrifice it, and if he counters that, then you can destroy it. And I was like, Paul, that is so smart. So I do it, and I was like, is it going to resolve? And then I hear Tom go, yep. And then it resolves, and everything's still there, and I'm like, it's like when people think that, the revelation's going to happen, the apocalypse is about to occur, and then there's that moment where you're just like, oh, it's still Wednesday. Oh my God! It's a real shocking time.
All right, let's find out what everyone else's experience was like. Mariah, remind us again what clan you played, and tell us what cards you're really looking forward to at the pre-release.
I played Abzan also, and I didn't do too well, seeing as I lost my first round versus Sean. I don't know what cards I'm looking forward to playing at the pre-release. It's more so once I open the packs, I'll see it and be like, hey. Okay. But
what clan are you gonna pick?
I don't know yet. I might pick Abzan, but I might go somewhere else. Broaden my horizons.
Very cagey. You're not giving anything away to your opponents at the pre-release at all. I like it.
I can't give away any more packs.
Okay, Frank Laporte, tell us about your experience this weekend.
I thought the deck was real good. Like, I had a ton of removal, a ton of evasive guys. I think against Scotty, like, I just didn't. I mean, I needed a black, which could have been deck building issue. Like, I could have actually just cut the color.
I don't want to. I just want to hear about the flavor of your pre-release deck.
Oh, like, I don't even know what that meant. What, like, in terms of, like, it had Djinns and Ifrits.
And how do those relate to Sphinxes exactly?
Well, they're very riddly. It's confusing. It's perplexing. The question is perplexing as well. We're having a good time here.
What cards are you looking forward to at the pre-release, and what clan are you going to choose?
I like Jeskai a lot. It's very tricky. There's a lot of instants and combat tricks and things, and the whole prowess mechanic is about combat. Well, Ifrit Weapon Master was a good pick in the deck. It makes combat real hard if you have enough mana to morph him, because +3 and first strike is huge. But I might mix it up. I might go like Sultai. I'm a bug player at heart, so.
Me too. That's the one I'm looking forward to. All right, Aaron, tell us about what you played.
I was Sultai, and I think Tom's deck ended up being what I envisioned my deck being. I knew that Sultai was going to be slow, and at that moment I was like, well, let's go all the way with it. Like, let's dirtle. The problem was I didn't have anything to get me past the dirtling, so I managed to live to turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, and then I had no plan. And he had the Sultai Ascendancy, which was like a scry, and he was able to do the same thing, but he was able to set up turn 7, turn 8, turn 9, which is how it's supposed to go. And I really feel like if I had that and a smoother road, it would have been better. So.
Scotty Mac, what were you doing?
Well, I mean, you live when you open up 5 colors worth of bombs, right? And you open up 2 tri-lands and 7 dual lands, and they all crisscross together. Most of your stuff is sort of like one piece. I mean, it looked real good on paper. It looked real good.
Well, you were playing online.
No, I know. Actually, I really liked a lot of the deck as I was going through it. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, 18 lands, without question. And I've been misbuilt at 17 to begin with. Every sideboarded game, I was bringing more lands in, especially with the 5-color build. So that was really, really important. And then, yeah, the morphs are like such a big piece of it because you're allowed to, just play a colorless. It really doesn't matter sort of what you're looking at. So it gives you that time, ideally, if you're playing a high volume of morphs, to like set up your board presence and not get too far behind. What I really, really liked as well were some of the morph cards were so sweet. Like was it the Fleet Feather Aven or something like that? It's like the 2/2 that flips over and bounces a guy is so amazing. 2/2 flying for 2 mana, or you morph him and flip and blow at your opponent. It's so good, that card. So I love that card. Let me tell you, when I'm going to pre-release, I'll be looking for some combination of either Sultai or Temur again, because like any opportunity I have to play that card, I'm on board.
Awesome. All right, Paul Chion.
Yes.
Tell us about what you played, maybe what you would have done differently.
Okay, so I played Temur just because I'm kind of a control player at heart, so I was like, anything with blue I'll choose. Temur seemed kind of sweet. As I played more of it, I realized that the correct color combination to be, if you want to be a control deck, was actually the bug shard, which is Sultai, yeah, because I saw what Tom was able to pull off, and that was far more impressive than what I did, because generally with the Temur, you just play a bunch of big dudes and then just try to overwhelm your opponent.
Reasonable play.
Exactly. Yeah. So like just by playing the format, I found that it's like this definitely just feels like a combination of Shards of Alara block plus Onslaught, and then just cram them together. So I'm trying to find the right balance, and even in sealed decks, you can be very tempted to go 4 or 5 colors, but at the same time, if you're doing that, you're going to be playing 7 to 9 copies of the dual lands. And since they're not exactly dual lands, everything comes into play tapped. That could end up slowing you down a lot because it's so important to hit your 2-drops and 3-drops in this format. Same thing, 2-mana 2/2s are very good in this format, much like it was an Onslaught block.
Awesome. Okay, Tom Ross, tell us about what you built. We've heard already, Sultai. What do you think of that clan?
It was cool. It was fun. It seemed like the most complex one, so I wanted to give that a try before going to the pre-list or whatever. You need to find a good balance of delve cards and the enablers too, because neither one does anything on their own. It's like you have these 8 or 9 drops in your hand that get stuck there for a while, or you have something like the Sultai Ascendancy, which doesn't do anything on its own either. But going forward, I think Asban was good too. It's probably the strongest one because in sealed decks it's like pretty slow of a format. The cards I like the Necropolis Fiend. That was a big bomb that I had in the sealed. But like Paul said, 2-drops are very important. I like the Highland game, the 2/1 that gains 2 life when it dies. And I think it was Debilitating Curse, whatever gives -2/-2.
Debilitating,
Yeah, it's very good. Shock was very good in Onslaught, and this is the next best thing.
What kind of enablers do you want for a Delve deck? What are the cards you're looking for there?
I mean, the Ascendancy is the best one. Cantrips are good, things like Crippling Chill, things that trade early, like the 1/1 Death Touch guy, even the 2/2s, Debilitating Thing, low removal spells. This would get like 4 cards in your graveyard by turn 6, be optimal, so you can play like a cheat out like with the Gibbering Baboons or something, hissing the 4/4 trample guy.
The mandrels.
Yeah. But you have to find like all the right pieces and the right number to make it run smoothly. But I liked it.
Sweet. Okay, Bjorn Anderson, tell me about what your deck was.
Yeah, I got the picks last, so I got Mardu, and at first I wasn't like very pleased because I wanted to be Temur because bears, and my name is Björn, which is bear in Swedish. So, but when I opened my pool,
Are people just going to be punching you at the pre-release?
yeah, maybe. Yeah. No. Well, I got my pool and I saw all these amazing cards, and I also realized like they have a mechanic that rewards attacking, and that seems like a good mechanic, So I did that. I actually think Mardu or Asban is the 2 best clans. I think, actually. Yeah. No, but I mean, Mardu can be really aggressive, and I think Sultai decks can be like Sultai or Temur could be a bit too slow to catch up with Mardu. I think so personally, but when it comes to the matchup Mardu and Asban, I think Asban has an edge just because of the Asban guide, which is like a huge. I mean, for lifelink, it's hard to compete with that. I think, yeah, as we saw.
Yeah, he saved my ass so many times, man. What a great card.
I did again.
Saved my Asban.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
That's not what it's called, but there you go.
All right, so that brings our Community Cup weekend to a close. Again, the community won. You guys, anyone who logged into Magic Online this weekend got a foil Survival of the Fittest on behalf of these guys. Could you give us a closeout here as we send it back to the booth? Can you give me a good like Abzan battle cry?
Jesus. Oh my God, an Abzan battle cry.
Yeah, let's just do it.
All right, here's the cry. Ah!
All right, back to the booth.
Wow.